This is my version of The Cat Came Back. Old Mr. Johnson had trouble of his own. He had a yellow cat which wouldn't leave its home. He tried and tried to give the cat away. He gave it to a man going far, far away. But the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back, thought he was a goner, but the cat came back. It just couldn't stay away. The man around the corner swore he'd killed the cat on sight. He loaded up his shotgun with nails and dynamite. It's probably a stupid thing to do, putting dynamite in it. He waited, and he waited for the cat to come around. 97 pieces of the man is all they found. Dynamite and shotgun. No wonder he was in 97 pieces. But the cat, he came back the very next day. The cat came back. Just happened, people just thought he was a goner, and yeah, well, couldn't stay away. He gave it to a little boy with a $1 note. Told him to take it up the river in a boat. Tied a rope around its neck. Must have weighed a pound. All this for $1? That was stupid. The little boy was stupid. Now they dragged the river for a little boy. It's drowned. And yes, the cat had came back the next day. He gave it to a man going up in a balloon. He told him for to take it to man in the moon. I don't think a balloon will go that far. Hopefully they had oxygen, because out there, it's not going to survive. The balloon came down about 90 miles away. Where he is now, well, I dare not to say. Not I won't say it. Although it's 90 miles away, somehow he came back the very next day. He gave it to a man going way out west. Told him, so he must be living in the east. Told him for him to take it to the one he loved the best. First the train hit the curve. Then it jumped the rail. And then a soul was left behind to tell the gruesome sad tale. Except for the cat, of course. But of course he wouldn't understand him. Because he did come back the very next day. Although a lot of people bid against him, because they thought he would have been a goner. He came back. Yes, he did. The cat had some company one night out in the yard. Someone threw a boot jack. If you don't know what a boot jack is, it's one of those things that put your feet into a boot in case you had put on too many socks and it wouldn't fit. That's what you do. And they threw it mighty hard. They caught the cat behind the ear. She thought it rather split. When along came a brick bat and knocked the cat out of sight. Finally, some people thought it would be gone. And yes, they bid again against it. They lost money, of course, because it came back the very next day. Not 2 days, 3 days, the very next day. Way across the ocean, they did send the cat at last, finally. Vessel only out a day and making water fast. People all began to pray. The boat began to toss. A great big gust of wind came by and every soul was lost. And yet again, the cat came back the very next day. Although it was way out there in the ocean, no one thought it would swim right back that quickly. But it happened to be the wind that blew it back. On a telephone wire, sparrows sitting in a bunch. The cat was feeling hungry. Thought she'd like them for a lunch. Climbing softly up the pole, and when she reached the top, put her foot upon the electric wire, which tied her in a knot. You'd think the cat would be electrocuted. No, had to wear these rubber items upon its paws. The cat was really smart doing that. And no, the knot didn't go around its neck, so somehow it got loose. Because it did come back the very next day to the same house. The cat was a possessor of a family of its own, with 7 little kittens till there came a cyclone. Blew the house all apart and tossed the cat around. The air was full of kittens and not one was ever found. Except, of course, the cat. Although 9 lives, people would have bet against it, the cat, and somehow it had more than 9 lives because it came back. And now the atom bomb fell just the other day. The H bomb fell in the very same way. Russia went, England went, and then the USA. The human race was finished without a chance to pray. The cat didn't need to pray because it did come back the very next day. And finally the cat was relieved that all the human race was finally finished. Because all that trying to get rid of it and that was the end of it. You can plot.